storytelling series. They try to do a version of this in Pittsburgh called Yarn. And I went to it once, it was really, really cool, so I figured we would just do one. The dish that I brought over, or that I cooked,
yeah, nice try on him.
I brought it from the stove to the table. I brought it over from the stove to the table.
You ordered takeout, right?
It's a dish called Xīhóngshì Chǎo Jīdàn, which is Chinese for tomatoes fried with eggs. And it's a significant dish to me because I lived in China for 5 months. I went for the Olympics, and then I lived there in Shanghai for 4 months, studying Chinese poorly, and drinking a lot, and smoking, and otherwise just being a hedonist. So the thing about China is, and I have several memorable stories about Xīhóngshì Chǎo Jīdàn, which I'm going to share all with you. How long? How am I doing on time?
1 minute.
Half a minute left.
Go. Think about being in China as an American is that there's no place to get breakfast. At least that's one of the things that I at least in the area where I live, there was no place that was open in the morning where you could go get something to eat. That was early enough before my classes came that I could go get something to eat. So tomatoes fried with eggs is like my favorite Chinese breakfast that is not Chinese breakfast. Chinese breakfast is usually like eggs,
dinner dish.
Dinner dish, and, but it's like Chinese breakfast is very weird to me. It was hard to get into eating Chinese breakfast. So when I would wake up late for class or not go, I would go get this particular dish, and it's like Chinese home cooking because it's extremely like filling and really like makes you feel good when you eat it. And no time was that more apparent than when I went to Qingdao. And Qingdao is the drinking capital of China because it is where Qingdao beer is made. And it's up in the north-ish area of China, and it's on the beach. And you go there, and there are various streets, and there's Beer Street, and there's like Seafood Street, and there's Stationery Street, and some other weird stuff that is, I'm not sure was translated correctly. I went there with a group of friends of mine, and we had a really great weekend. We went to the beer factory, and once when it was 3 o'clock and they were closing, so we just went directly to the bar. And then again, where we went and did the whole tour, I got into arm wrestling matches with Chinese people. We went and got yelled at for eating seafood or something. I don't remember exactly what happened. It was the first time I drank beer out of a bag. A little plastic bag with a straw for about $1. And
Awesome.
it was. At the time.
And now
We went to I think our last day in Qingdao. We went from Qingdao proper. We went out to Laoshan, which is a mountain in the Qingdao area, and you just have to climb it. And climbing mountains in China means basically walking up a long series of stairs that they've already built, because Chinese have been in China for so long. There's no place that's left untouched. I think that every natural area that was once a natural area is now has a staircase or a temple built at the top of it or something like that. So we climbed up these stairs leading up this mountain, and we must have been climbing for several hours. Got up to the top, beautiful, obviously, gorgeous, scenic. It looked just like Southern California. Actually, it looked like the Southern California from James Bond films.
Come up!
Southern California from James Bond films, or that one scene from Austin Powers where he's driving and saying, "Oh, this doesn't look anything like Southern California." Or something like that. Rocks and trees and all sorts of neat stuff around there. Hey, Ed!
Ed! What'd you bring, Ed?
I brought miso soup.
Yay!
Hey.
I brought it.
Okay.
Ed is delicious.
Ed is my favorite meal.
Save some Ed for me, okay?
He said that.
I think that this has just gotten a little too weird.
What?
I mean, maybe it's just mine, but it's in the gutter, man.
I was just being friendly.
So,
Yes, if he was.
we're at the top. We're at the top of this mountain. We come back down. Going up takes 3 or 4 hours, and coming back down takes about an hour. We get to the bottom, and there was a bus that we took to get to this place, and as was the case in many of the adventures that we had in China, there was no bus back. So we were there, and there was no way to get back to the city, which was 20
That's how
miles
those
away.
Chinese get you.
So I walked over to this group of Chinese guys who were standing by a van, and I said as best I could, can you drive us back? Because kind of a pay for just kind of a one-time deal taxi thing is pretty common in China. If you ask somebody to drive you, you pay them a few dollars, something like that. So this is what I figured was going to happen, and they got really excited because it was me and my white friends, and we and the one Taiwanese girl that spoke better Chinese than all of us. We piled in the back of this van and felt like refugees because there were no seats. There were paint buckets, and then there was like a board, and we were just like crouched in there, cruising along the Chinese highway, no seatbelts. And I don't know, the thing about driving in China is that nobody pays any attention to any of the rules. But everybody pays attention to everybody else. So it's actually, I think, a safer driving environment than the U.S. because we think our laws will protect us here. Where in China they're like, no, they won't. I'm gonna watch this guy, make sure he doesn't do something crazy because he will. They're taking us back in, and the rest, us foreigners are back there talking to each other in English, and we were like, okay, so how much should we pay these guys? We didn't figure out any amount of money to pay, and I was like, all right, let's pay him, I don't know, 50 kwai, something like that, which is, I don't even know how much that is, like $10. And we got there, and we tried to give them money, but they were like, no. They wouldn't allow us to pay them any money. They were just really happy to have had the opportunity to interact with some foreigners, to drive us back. They were just really, really nice guys. And coming from China, which no offense, Jia,
Barbarians. I was expecting the story to end, and then they rolled us, and they took our money and wallets and passports.
Exactly. The Chinese, if you're a white man like me, they will cheat you out of every last dime that you.
Because you're asking for it, Adam.
Exactly. Being a white man, I am totally asking for it.
We're still sore about the Opium Wars.
Exactly. Yeah, we did screw you guys pretty bad. The point is that this was a really nice, act of kindness, a really surprising act of kindness that we got from these Chinese. But we were starving.
It's been like this all night, Ed. It's super offensive.
We were starving when we got back to Qingdao proper, so we went to this.
Give me a beer.
Nice. That was nice.
We went back to Qingdao proper. We got into this. We went to this restaurant, which most restaurants in China are family affairs. It's somebody's doing the cooking in the back, and there's the wife running the counter at the front, or something like that. And in this case, there's this little kid running around. Anyway, we got in starving, and we are. We order whenever you're eating in China, you order more dishes than there are people. And then you share them all. And one of the things we ordered was Xīhóngshì Chǎo Jīdàn. And we yelled to this little kid because when you are in China, yelling is just what you do. I actually had trouble once for yelling extremely loudly in a restaurant. Fuyan, which is waitress. And
you're so lucky Adam didn't spend time in Brazil.
It's not. It's what you do.
Well, you'd hear because you stories about.
You all get attention, and
apparently not.
At least that was my experience in China.
Normal though?
Anyway,
I love those stories.
because the restaurant got suddenly really quiet right before I yelled. It was like loud, and then I yelled this thing, and it was. I was like, oh crap. I got embarrassed by it. That's what I mean. Anyway, he yelled at this kid, and we said, "Hey, can you bring us these bowls of rice? Because they don't usually bring rice until the very end of the meal in some Chinese restaurants." And we ate this Chinese dish with tomato scrambled eggs and rice, and we felt extremely full, very happy from our day. So that is
Yay!
Xīhóngshì Chǎo Jīdàn story.
That's almost exactly 10 minutes.